What time is it? It's time for another Every Other Wednesday.
Hi, Jeff.
People are piling in.
They are. Somebody once suggested that we should all have the same background. As you can see, we have not taken to that.
We should all have Jeff Tobe.
Right, there you go.
I don't want
Yeah.
Jeff Tobe as my background.
Everyone needs to weigh in. Everyone needs to weigh in on the new Jeff Tobe background.
Yeah,
Let us know what you think about that. Only if it's kind.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, listen, guys, we have something else I have to address right up front.
Oh, what's that?
Sanjay, would you please stand up?
No. Oh, no.
Come on, you must.
Somebody's already said everybody loves the shirt.
Yet.
Fritz loves the logo.
We have to explain why we're wearing the shirts and
such.
And I think it's once again, Jeff, I believe you're being premature.
Okay. All right. If you promise to do it during our episode, so.
I will.
Oh, can I put money in the pot for him to not do it?
Nobody told me it was beach week and I should wear a different shirt.
That's what you wear sometimes on the beach in Pittsburgh. Hey, Sanjay, what advice do you have for our group today?
What? Say that again, please.
What advice do you have for our group today, for our audience?
I have the advice, which is what I always say is don't listen to the other three, just listen to me. But in addition to that, if your default on your chat doesn't send the message to everyone, please change that so that we can hear and share with everyone.
Yeah.
And we have a fun question for you to open things up with, because today is, yes, it's Color TV Day to celebrate the invention of Color TV. So to make sure you put the color on your TV tonight. Catfish Day, Global Smurfs Day, and for the purposes of our question, it is Global Beatles Day. So we would love to know your favorite Beatles song. What is your number one favorite Beatles song? Gentlemen, do you have a favorite Beatles song?
I do. Mine is Eleanor Rigby, because it just is pretty music. Some of the other Beatles stuff is too, but it's just a particularly pretty tune.
Mine is Hey Jude, because I'm married to Judy, and her tone is Hey Jude, so I hear it all the time.
I'm going to pick two. I'm a big fan of Strawberry Fields, but I really love Twist and Shout because of Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yeah. The Ferris Bueller version, though, right?
Wait, Fritz, what is the weight?
The weight?
I gotta look that up.
Yeah, Fritz, could you
Yellow Submarine
unmute and sing it for us, please?
Hey, Carol went to two of their concerts.
Carol, holy
You've got it
snackers.
all beat. Yeah, didn't get to see them. Golden Slumbers medley.
Now you're getting deeper that I don't understand. So.
Yeah, no, these are serious Beatles people here.
Mike, what day is it?
What day is it? It is June 25th, 2025.
6/25/25.
But what day is it?
25. It's Wednesday.
Oh, it's Wednesday, and not just Wednesday. It's every other Wednesday.
I know it's Beatles Day, but I'm sure there's more.
Were you not listening to me? You just totally did you go into a
see what happens when all four of us are here?
I said that. It's Color TV Day, Jeff.
Oh, I did hear that.
For the invention of Color TV, it's Global Smurfs Day and Catfish Day.
By the way, gentlemen, and I know you can appreciate this, because when I first started speaking and I would go and try to find a place to stay the night, I remember the advertisement that would say on the on the motel sign, Color TV.
Yeah, that's when you knew it was really cool. Yeah.
Sorry about that,
All
Mike.
right.
I wasn't ignoring you. I'm just not feeling great.
Shall we get started? Welcome, everybody.
That's the best idea I've heard the whole episode.
Yeah. It's another exciting gluten-free edition of Every Other Wednesday. I might as well start. I'm Michael Kerr, coming to you from my home office in Canmore, Alberta, in the Canadian Rockies, and I speak on workplace culture. And one little announcement I will make: my latest book, I just recorded it myself in audio, so it is now available on audio and all sorts of other platforms where audiobooks are available. So
wonderful. So can people order the cassette?
They can order the cassette,
8-track
tape, the reel, whatever format you want. Richard, why don't you introduce yourself?
Oh, I will. Okay, I'm Richard Haddon, and I'm an author and speaker. I wrote Contented Cows Still Give Better Milk, and I talk about Leadership in the New World of Work. I live in Jacksonville, Florida, but today I'm coming to you from Boise, Idaho, in the spectacular American Rockies-ish, kind of. It's on the outskirts.
So close.
I will go next. My name is Sanjay Nav. I am based in Oakville, Ontario, just outside of Toronto. I'm a speaker and author focusing on leadership and performance. And Michael pointed out that often, we have welcome to another gluten-free edition of Every Other Wednesday. Well, in 2 weeks, we're going to do a gluten-full edition. I think it's important to balance that.
And instead of talking about the Beatles, we're going to talk about the group Bread.
No, we're going to actually talk about Beatles insects.
That was very good, and it passed right over, Richard. I like
Nicely done. Nicely done.
I guess it's my turn. I'm Jeff Tobe, and I don't listen. I am coming to you from beautiful downtown Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Yes, I have a new background, but as my colleagues tell me, I'm still looking like I'm virtual, so I got to fix that. I speak on creative thinking as it applies to the customer experience, and I'm always just excited to be here. So.
Always.
But you're like never here, so I don't know. So you don't get excited.
Look at this. Is definitely a red letter day. All four of us are.
Jeff is sometimes here when we're not here.
What are we talking about
weird?
today?
Like he
Let's
just
put
hangs
your
out
nonsense.
That's because I forget which Wednesday it is, Mike. So I show up not here.
Yeah, Mike. Why don't you give us Mike? Why don't you give us a summary of what we're going to talk about today?
I will summarize what we're going to talk about. Thank you, Richard. I will summarize this because you know what? It's June 25th. It's Wednesday, June 25th. We had the solstice just a few days ago. We are now officially in summer. The kids are getting out of school. We are into summer season. Summer season for most businesses reflects a change in the cycle, I would say, of business. For a lot of businesses, it's a lot slower or the rhythm changes. For some businesses, it's their crazy busy time. But for a lot, it's their slow time, it's their downtime. Employees go on holidays, it's sometimes more relaxed. So we're just going to have a little more of a lighter episode talking about work in the summer, some fun ideas that you might want to think about during the summer, some culture building ideas to think about during the summer. If it is a slow time, it's a great opportunity to take advantage of that, to do some culture building initiatives. Perhaps we will talk about, and would love to hear from you if your workplace does anything in terms of different scheduling, different schedules for employees in the summer, if you perhaps allow children to come and work with you during the summer, if you have more relaxed dress codes, for example, during the summer, as I know some of my clients do. So all sorts of things we could get into. And of course, a lot of people go on holidays in the summer, so we could talk about that too. What can we do collectively to make it easier for us to go away on holidays and have a stress-free holiday? And what could we do to help our colleagues have a more stress-free holidays? So that is my summary. Get it?
Yes, indeed. Well, I was thinking some of the businesses that might fall into the category of having a little bit slower summer would be, for instance, the ski resorts in near beautiful Canmore, Alberta.
That would be true. That would be.
But not everybody is that way. So I'm wondering if we've already gotten a comment from Yvette who says that summer is our busy time, but we do close for 1 week to allow employees to have some time with their families. So that's cool.
Okay.
All right.
Others.
What is summer any different for you? I'm just wondering if you want to comment.
Busier, the same, or less busy?
Just hotter. I don't know.
That brings up a good point. I've never, that a whole company, I don't know the size of it, but shuts down for the same week. Everybody takes the same. Are they, I'm not trying to be funny. Are they that close that they want to, do some things together? Or is it just been convenient to shut down for a week? I'm curious.
I have note of companies that do that, because if you think about it, if everybody shuts down, then nobody's trying to get in touch with somebody when they're not there. It's just, we'll just shut everything down. These are generally companies, and again, I don't know about Yvette's. These are generally companies that don't necessarily have a lot of direct customer facing kinds of things. And so they can afford a week. And I'm sure their customers know this in advance.
So Pamela, where is it that you have the Midnight Sun? Where are you based out of?
Oh, I bet she's in Alaska.
Well, that would be my guess.
Yes. Well, in fact, Alaska known as the land of the midnight sun.
There you go.
Yes.
She's in Wasilla. I've been to Wasilla.
Yeah.
Could have been working at the North Pole. That would have been awesome.
So the whole thing about summer, to me, is yes, we have nice weather, but I think it's all based on children. and them
Yeah,
having
to a large degree, yeah,
right.
yeah.
So for years, people would ask me, "Hey, when is your busy time for speaking? What's your busiest month?" And traditionally, for the 30 years that I've done this, May and September have been
Yeah.
my busiest months.
Yeah.
And people would say, "Why May and September?" And my best guess has to do with summer. So summer is coming, and people go, "Oh my goodness, we got to do something." They have a retreat. Then everyone comes back from summer, and they're like, "Oh my goodness, summer's over. We got to do something." And rally the troops. So that's why May and September. And again, it all has to do with scheduling. So the kids are home, now we vacation, and it's funny / sad because where I live in Southern Ontario, hands down, without question, the nicest weather we have is August. There's like no bugs. It's beautiful. It's sunny.
Which day in August are you thinking of specifically?
From about August 1st to August 31st. Like
Okay.
the month is just beautiful. And I've always found it amazing when people are like, "Well, we're going to Dominican, we're going to Cuba, we're going to Mexico." And I'm like, why would you go in August?
Yeah.
But it has to do with scheduling. So that scheduling piece actually tends to trump so many other factors.
Can you? Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
And you know, a lot of what we're talking about though too does depend on where you live, right? In terms of how the climate impacts your work and some of the things you might consider. And I mean, one of the reasons I think, Sanjay, in Canada, we aren't busy as speakers in the summer is that because so many Canadians go on holidays in July and August, it's just not a good time to meet. It's not a good time to hold conferences.
I wonder if that's changing though. I mean, it is 101 degrees outside right now here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And guess what? I don't want to go out, nor do a lot of people. So it might change again as we.
Well, let's think about this. So, traditionally, schools have been out in the summer. And then I can also hear people say, but wait a minute, I don't have kids. This does not affect me. I can take my vacation whenever I want. And that's true. But I would still say that we live in a culture, I don't care if you're in the US, UK, Canada, wherever, generally that is a little bit built around the idea of school summer holidays, whether you have kids or not, that's what it is. And so that's going to make for a little bit of difference. But we're also seeing some school districts that are going to year-round school and taking 6 weeks off here and 6 weeks off there. And I've always thought that's very disruptive for parents who live in a society that is used to one schedule, and now they're going rogue on some others. And I wonder sometimes if these school districts think about the impact of that.
Well, it's interesting. The Pittsburgh Department of Education is, the Board of Education is considering shortening lengthening the summer break because a report out just today was 86% of our schools in the city do not have air conditioning.
Wow.
And so, they've had to cancel school this week.
Sure, yeah.
So that does
thinking
into what I was going to say. First of all, do you still have a Department of Education? Sorry, not going there.
No, sorry, it's a Board of Education.
Anyways, so having grown up in the speaking industry and speaking at schools, different parts, especially of the U.S., based on traditional weather and lack of air conditioning in most schools, some places they stop school in May and come back in August because that's the hot time. And where I live and in a bunch of other parts, they have July and August off. So, but again, some of the schools go from May to August. So you have there's already a disruptive cycle. But because again, if you don't have kids, you think this doesn't affect me. Well, it doesn't matter because your boss may have kids and your coworker may have kids. So we need to. It is definitely a part of the decision-making process. This is part of the information that needs to come in when we're trying to make a decision that affects the majority.
So from a culture point of view, circling this back to culture, do you think it's a good idea if we want to keep happy, engaged employees, is the summer season a good time to consider how we could be as flexible as possible with our work schedules when we have that opportunity, when we can, recognizing not all businesses can, of course, but a lot of businesses can. Is this an opportunity to show that you can be more flexible than usual, depending on your parenting requirements, depending on what's happening with the weather, depending on all sorts of factors? And I love that Jenny pointed out that, they've got a 4-day work week starting in the summer that they don't have to make up. And I have some clients who do that as well. I think that's a fabulous perk in the summer.
I think it's brilliant. And I think it's easier to sell when you say this is only for a short period of time. I can understand organizations that say we're not going to go to a 4-day work week all year long and pay people the same when they're only there 4 days a week. I mean, we know there's research that shows that in many cases, the productivity is still just as high when you do that. But I can understand the argument. But when you say, yeah, but let's do this for a season, for just a few weeks or a couple of months, it's not going to make a huge impact on the organization. But I would argue that it does make a huge impact on those employees for that period of time. So I think that's brilliant.
Yeah.
I also want to, and you mentioned it briefly, Mike, about the weather. I hadn't thought about this. It's not just about, okay, it's a season and people are taking time off and they're going on vacation, schools are out and that kind of thing. But as Fritz says, their work, a lot of times they have to be outside. And so they have to be more mindful of the safe working environment. And in most places, except for Canmore, Alberta, where it snowed last week, it does get very hot in the summer. It's not just where I live in Jacksonville. And Jeff just said it's 101 degrees out there. So if your people are working outside, that's another consideration.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of the flexibility too in the summer, I wonder if there's stats that bear this out. I suspect a lot of businesses allow even more flexibility when it comes to people working from home when they have that option in the summer. Yeah. And again, that could be, as you say, Richard, for those companies that are uncomfortable still doing it year round, at least maybe July and August is a time to be more flexible, to know that you have that opportunity to be flexible the way we didn't before.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna slightly redefine the term. We're gonna use the term summer, but we're gonna have it generically mean during your slow down time. So for a lawn maintenance business, it's not going to be summer's not your slow down time, but winter is. For amusement parks, summer is your busy time. So I guess to be more specific to organizational culture, we're going to make the assumption that schedules change based on the productivity and how whether or not you're in your busy season. So let's make the assumption that we have, or a good number of people are in their slower season now in the summer. What are some of the things that people could be looking to do to increase the organizational culture, to make it more,
or to acknowledge this about the culture and to make it more positive? I know, Mike, you've got some wonderful ideas, and I bet our audience does too.
Yeah, one client I remember who they were looking at cross education. I didn't want to think of the term because we call it cross training, but you're not going to train somebody for a job that they're never going to do. But they wanted people to know what other people did in the organization. And so when they slowed down in the summer, they actually had people work in jobs of people who were taking the week off or 2 weeks off to help in that department and also get to know what they do for a living. So right there is just a simple way. It's a win-win for everybody.
That cross training piece is so powerful on a corporate level, because if you're making the widget that goes on the thingy-majiggy, and you're not exactly sure of the specs, you're told whatever, but now when you take the widget and you put it on the thingy-majiggy and you appreciate that, oh, this little nuance is the most important part, we don't care about that, it allows you to do your job more effectively, and it makes the next guy's or girl's job easier as well. So that element of cross training is huge, and to take advantage of it while things are slower is brilliant.
Yeah.
I had a client who did that, and they said the main thing that they got from that was people could see why people in this department did things the way they did that annoyed the people in this department. And when they saw the justification and they saw why they did things that way, they were no longer as annoyed. And I'm all for annoyance minimization.
Yeah. There's also another piece to this.
We still invite Mike.
Right now, knowledge management is a huge buzzword in the corporate world. And knowledge management is just passing on that tacit knowledge that somebody has before they A, get hit by a bus, or B, retire. And
C, go on vacation.
Or just go on vacation for 2 weeks.
So go on a vacation, get hit by a bus, and decide to retire.
Right. Yeah. There's a lot of win-wins there.
The other opportunity I hear all the time when companies do that. I think this is a big one too, is you just learn to appreciate other people's jobs.
Yeah. It's that perspective.
It's that perspective
Yeah,
shifting where you used to,
okay,
they have it so easy over there in that thing, and then you do it and you go, oh, okay, this isn't as easy as it looks from the outside.
Yeah.
Have
It
newfound
reminds
respect
me
for you.
of an episode of the Flintstones where Wilma had to take over Fred's job and Fred had to take over Wilma's job. They both complaining that it was so easy. And
You do watch some high-minded stuff.
Well, it is
I tell you what.
color TV day. That's a good callback there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But before you go on, look what Carol said. Yeah, wish the people who are, in the C-suite could sit at the reception desk, something, or work in the file room, the mail room, just to get a clue as to these jobs that couldn't, that are so necessary.
I'm going to let the audience in on a little secret about the entire consulting industry. This is what consultants do.
Tell me, I'm going to take notes.
All right. This is the really high-end ones will go and charge the company $3 million, and then we'll go interview the frontline people, the greeters, the frontline staff, and go, what would make your job easier? What's the problem? And they write it down, and then they put it in a fancy report, and they go bring it to the higher ups of the C-suite and go, this is how you'll make your company better. And they go, holy shit, this is amazing. This is worth way more than $3 million. And that is the entire consulting industry. And if people would just open the lines of communication and go down and say, hey, talk to me, and that's what organizational culture is. It would make things so much easier. You cut out the middleman. You have people having a higher sense of loyalty. You'll have lower turnover, blah, 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 blah. But I mean, that's what it is. I mean, totally to Carol's point.
Yeah, all the things we talk about, Sanjay, and that's a great point. I in a previous life, working as a senior manager in an organization, used to drive me nuts that we would bring in these high-priced consultants, and we never felt that we were listened to. Not even the senior managers felt like we were listened to from the even more senior managers, and it was so frustrating. But getting back to this idea of slow time, taking it, and
look at Carl's comment, and it speaks right to that. Do you see Carl Fry's comment? I love this. Seasonal approach won't work for us in the senior living industry, but flexibility and support can be provided in different ways. Example, and I love examples. We all do. Allowing an individual originally from, name your country, to return home for 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
When somebody's from perhaps India or Indonesia or something, and you're working in North America, going over for a week, by the time you get there and get over jet lag, it's time to come back. So those nice long holidays.
I get to go to my home country of Canada.
Going a whole 4 hours up there.
And knowing that about your people, it speaks volumes. Right? I had the opportunity to do some work with a company out in the Middle East, in Doha, and it was 80% of the organization was expats. And so they would allow for that sort of thing where they'd say, okay, look, on for 12 weeks, and then you're going to get 4 weeks off, and then on for 12 weeks and 4 weeks off, or whatever the arrangement was. But that totally connects. And again, it builds loyalty. And it, most importantly, when people feel heard, they're more likely to play. And they're going to give you that extra,
discretionary effort is what it is. Yeah.
I've heard that term before.
Yeah.
So back to this notion of the topic we were on, of when it's slower seasons, taking advantage of those, like Jeff's great idea of doing, the cross training stuff is brilliant, but also looking at just opportunity. I know a lot of my clients in their slow time, they triple down on doing just educational stuff, training stuff. So bringing in speakers, using that opportunity to have in-house training stuff, to go on field trips, which is a great off-season slow thing to do, to look for ideas and have these kind of scavenger hunt of ideas in there.
Customer field trips, going to see what's happening at your customer site.
Some of them, even they get a budget, they break out into teams, they have to prepare a report, but it's really fun still. It's fun, right? You're out there in the community, you're just looking for ideas everywhere and anywhere, and bringing them back.
And sometimes it doesn't even have to be work related. It doesn't have to be cross training. It doesn't have to be talking to the customer. It can just be, let's just shoot the shit. Let's just talk. Let's just go for a movie. Let's have.
What is with your mouth today?
That's twice.
It's his summer mouth. He's a little more relaxed. He's got the summer.
He puts on that shirt.
Summer mouth.
Cursing like a sailor out here.
He puts that shirt on and it changes his whole
person.
I know.
We're in the middle of a heat spell here. It's actually hotter than 100 up here.
Oh,
so between my brain getting cooked and having to put up with you yahoos.
I think back to what we were talking about. I think I've mentioned it before, but it could also be a community service thing in the summer.
Yeah.
I had a client who every summer their entire staff, they bought T-shirts and they were all in the same color. They went out and painted houses for people who couldn't afford to do it themselves, and they made sure they did it in the same block. So it was always a PR stunt as well, because you had all these pink T-shirts painting houses, like 300 people painting 4 or 5 houses, and they would do it in a day. They'd get a house painted. So
that's brilliant, and it's a change of pace for everybody, right? It's fun. It's team building. It's very cool.
And a win-win
back to the community.
And a win-win, right? So you're helping the community, but you're also, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of branding there. With shameless plug. Speaking of shameless plug, that's the idea. Is you're always just looking for ways of having fun. So again, this particular call, Mike and I dressed the part. Richard and Jeff for being slackers.
Wait a minute. I mean, look, I have designs on my shirt.
You would normally wear a shirt like that. I think you're just double dipping right now, so I'm not impressed. So I was speaking at a conference where I got, this is actually literally, since I got this shirt, which is about 2 years ago, it's my first time ever wearing it. So it seemed right. And I'll explain to you why I can't wear it in public.
You'll see why. It'll be very obvious.
Now, I will tell you before I do the big reveal, if you do want to purchase the shirt, we can do a little auction, a little bit of a bidding. Again, with just this idea of looking for ways to have fun. I spoke at this conference and they gave each speaker a shirt like this. Ready?
Don't move.
There you go.
Who is that, by the way? It doesn't look like you.
Why did they give you a shirt with Ross all over it?
Yeah,
That makes sense. I'm confused.
No, it's me, and they gave everyone one of those shirts. Well, not a picture of me on all the shirts, but of each speaker.
Oh, okay. I thought you literally meant they gave everybody a shirt with your picture on it.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, you couldn't blame them for wanting one. And like I said, we can start the bidding at 10 million.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Sanjay. You should bring that to convention in Halifax. I'll wear it.
You know what? It's funny because Joel Hilsey, who's a speaker friend, he was at this event as well, and we talked about bringing them to Costa Rica to wear when we went last year.
That's awesome. So before we
what are
shift
some
topics,
other cool ideas?
before we shift topics here, just one final thought on this. Slow time is a simple suggestion, and I know a couple of my clients actually do this, and I think it's brilliant. They have a file of things that they keep, like we have a million ideas in the business, right? But we're busy, life happens, you're on the treadmill, you can't get to this stuff. So create a database of things that you can shift to when things get slow.
That's brilliant,
And this can even apply on even a weekly rhythm. Say you're in a restaurant business and you have a day where it's just suddenly dead as anything. Well, you go to your list, okay, here's our chance. Let's be opportunistic here. Here's a chance to get a bunch of stuff done.
Yeah. I have a client I'm working with right now. They're very large on the campus where I am. There are multiple campuses. They have 2,700 people, and they have this giant neon billboard. And it usually says, the time, the date, the weather, and anything that they want to announce. It rotates during the day.
Yeah.
At the end of the summer, each summer, they have a thing, and I saw it on something you wrote to us, Mike, and that was having their kids. It was a drawing contest, what I did this summer.
Yeah.
And then they post them on there, and all day they go back and it has the name of the kid. And so, I think it's a lot of fun. There's so much you can do.
So much. Hey, so we've talked about holidays a few times. Let's talk quickly just about some ideas in terms from a culture point of view, and what we can do individually maybe to make our holidays as stress-free as possible, how we can support other people.
We can also talk about Canada, which has 25 different holidays in the summer, I think.
Are you talking about holidays, or holidays vacations?
No, vacations. So you're going away.
So what we quaintly refer to in the United States as vacation, right?
Vacation.
So
yeah.
So the first order of business is picking the right length of your time away. And as you know, they say the perfect vacation / holiday is long enough to be missed, but not so long that people recognize they can get along without you. So you have to
exactly. Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to Sanjay?
Right.
Um,
Yeah. Who?
Here's
Yeah.
so here's just
So-
a very specific tip that I used to do whenever I went on vacation when I had a real job in an organization. And
Tell
it's not
us.
always possible to do this. I get it depending on your position, but I used to fib about the actual dates I was going away. So I gave myself a cushion on either end. And I made sure I had a meeting-free day to return to, where I had no appointments, no nothing, and a meeting-free day before I left. And that helped me with my stress so much.
Great idea.
What
Setting expectations is huge because some people want to be disturbed on vacation. Other people don't want to hear, right? So some people, it's such part of their identity. They want to check in, or they're going to feel empty if everyone forgets. So whatever your expectations, it's not right or wrong. But if you can voice
be
that,
clear about it?
Communicate
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Yeah.
hey, I'm going to be available by phone, or I'm only checking my phone on Wednesday, or I'm whatever it is, and let people know that so that the expectations are very clear.
There are European companies now where they have, if you send an email to somebody or leave a voicemail or however you communicate, and they are away on vacation, they literally
You
set
get
up a system
fined.
where this person will not get the email. They are gone from here till here. Like they have it, I can't get into the details of it, but anyway, they have a system to make sure people don't return to 174 emails waiting for them, because that's a huge stressor, right? You're supposed to go on vacation for a reason, to rewind and rejuvenate, and nobody
So
wants
hold
to
on a second. Well, like, what is that? So someone else's,
Yeah, they either do things like, call back in 2 weeks because this isn't going anywhere in this time, and or they have a system where somebody else will deal with it. But it's very clear. The point is they go out of their way to make sure the person isn't inundated when they return.
Right, because what's the benefit of a vacation if you come back as stressed as you were when you were there? I think there's also something to be said for me taking responsibility before I leave to do a few things that will make my colleagues' life better and easier while I'm gone. And if everybody does that, first of all, you'll get a good reputation if you are the one who does that. But if everybody does that, then it kind of evens it out.
Hold on. If everyone does it, I believe that's called culture.
Yeah, there you go.
So it's a cultural norm. And back to Sanjay's point, it is a really good point. We talk about how, well, everybody should be just totally 100% off the grid when they go away. And I think ideally, in a lot of cases, that is something to shoot for. And there are increasingly laws around that, again, in a lot of European countries.
Mm-hmm.
However, if it means you are going to be less stressed out, and I, as a solopreneur, we all deal with this as well. And I've said this to my wife on holidays, we've done 5 weeks in hot places, but I'll say, here's the trade-off. I am going to have to do an hour of work, but just an hour of work each day. Yeah. And then I'm less stressed out knowing that I have access to a computer and I can do an hour of work each day, as opposed to trying to completely shut down.
Well, it also has to do with how much you like your work. I mean, I love doing what I do. And so to fend off and take 5 minutes and respond to an email because someone's interested in something. And sometimes that email is, hey, I'm away. Can we follow up on Tuesday? I'll be back in 10 days or whatever it is. Because there's not an urgency to it, but you can still make the relationship connection and then deposit by just responding to the person and giving them a heads up.
And think about how it strengthens that relationship. Wow, you actually reached out to me on your vacation? Either you're an idiot or thank you.
Column A and column B.
Right.
Well, there's a whole bunch of other stuff, Mike, that I know we were talking about that companies do during this short time. What are some of those other things that you had?
Well, some fun stuff. Let's talk about some fun stuff, because it's a great opportunity to have a little more fun. Things like, and some of my clients do this, a loudest Hawaiian shirt contest day, and you get everybody just, it's cheesy, but it's simple, and you get everybody wearing their.
I like loudest instead of you saying ugliest. So.
Yes, loudest, not the ugliest.
Ugliest is for sweaters.
Having family open houses if kids are off school and stuff. So having family open houses. One of the ideas I love, and one of my clients took me up on doing this. They did lemonade stands during the summer, and they actually raised money for charity. So they would do it out where their customers would coming in, and it was all went towards charity, but they also had contests between departments to see who could sell the most lemonade throughout a day. Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
What's a
Yes.
family? What's a family open house?
A family open house where you just you have,
Bring the family into the
bring
office
the
and let
family
them
into
see,
the office, and you do
see where you
tours, and
spend,
set up stuff,
spend
and meet
your time.
dad or mom.
Families open their houses.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
A Ferris Bueller's Day Off contest. This one I love, where people have to write down what their Ferris Bueller day off would be. Like, what would they do if I had a day off in the middle of the summer? Here's what I'm going to do, and whoever has the most creative, fun one wins the thing. A make your own Sunday bar theme day, where you have all the toppings and stuff. I have a client, in fact, that does that every Friday afternoon. So they have a Sunday bar where
Just during the summer or all year long?
Just during the summer.
Okay.
Just during the summer. Fishbowl Fridays. Everybody's name. This is a couple of my clients do this. Just during the summer, everybody's name goes into a fishbowl. They draw a name, and whoever's name gets drawn, you get released from the fishbowl. I think it's an hour. It's a small, but it's still something, and it's fun and it's playful. So they turn it into a bigger thing than it probably is. They get let home on a Friday an hour or maybe 2 hours earlier if their name gets drawn. Mini golf tournaments.
And as a bit of a spin-off, if you're doing a draw like that and you want to draw it out and create suspense, you do a reverse draw. So pretend there's 50 employees. Rather than pull out one name and they're the winner, you pull out 49 names, they're the loser. Whoever's left is the winner. So the idea being, you are drawing.
It takes a long time.
Yes, but you can stagger it too.
This is for people who want to stretch their social.
Exactly.
We have an hour team building.
No, you start on Monday.
I'll tell you the place I saw it. It worked brilliantly. So there was an office.
Everybody said, "Oh, I hope I don't get picked." Oh no, I got picked.
It is totally what it was. So
Yeah.
So it's an office party, and it was a Christmas thing. And what happened was people could opt in, and the cost to opt in was you bought a gift card. It was like $10, $50. I don't remember what it was, but whoever wanted to bought the gift cards. And so the top 5 and I think maybe 30 people entered this thing, and the top 5 got to split them. So the 5th place person got 3 and the 4th place person got 6, and whatever. They divided them up. But the MC was just brilliant. So when people came back from the break throughout the event, or when people just before the dinner or whatever it was, it would say, all right, we're pulling 3 names. And again, there's so much fun. Like this guy was like, oh, it gives me great pleasure to pull this name. Mike, no gift cards for you. All right, next. But again, it just built up the suspense, and it was just a really nice, fun way of doing it.
I love that.
Yeah,
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
So listen, Carol has given us another example that did some of their fun activities during the tax season. I can't imagine that. Playing cornhole down the hallway. Somebody said they had putting contests in the halls. So we've talked about a lot of just fun little things in there. But this is where it goes from being a practice or an activity to being culture. And that is when there's some consistency to it. It's like Simon Sinek talking about leadership and comparing that to being in love with someone. It's not because you sent them flowers or gave them, told them happy birthday. It's because you did this kind of stuff all the time, not so predictably, but consistently. And so I think if a company says, okay, we're going to do a few things here in the summer that are fun because we thought we should, we'll do it. But then everything else the rest of the year is like working in a sweatshop. That's really not going to have the same effect. But if it just becomes, and I don't want to say becomes so expected that it's just kind of an entitlement, but if it's just part of the way we do things, we know it's going to be fun. We know there's going to be a slow season, and we're going to take advantage of that and do some things that are smart to do during our slow season. That's when it becomes culture, not just practices that we throw out there.
Doesn't feel forced. It feels more organic, and
I'll throw in another definition.
Right?
One of my mentors, very early on, to talk to me, and he said something about when you run a program or you're developing an idea. He said when the product of the program runs the program, you have a successful program. And so to parallel that here, say you're doing tacky T-shirt day or whatever, and it's pushed forward by the HR or by Richard, the spearhead of this. Well, when Richard steps back, are people clamoring to do that? Like, oh, that's what we do here. I'll step in. I'll take it over. And so that's what you want, is that succession happening where it's again, it's not forced, it's not checking a box, but people are actually anticipating it and looking forward to it. It's one of the questions I often ask when people ask me to speak. I always want to get a sense. There's two really standard questions I ask. Number one is, and again, it's not the question. It's I'm trying to understand the audience. Question is, I say, if I'm introduced, and the first thing out of my mouth, I say, ladies and gentlemen, stand on your chair and bark like dogs. What percentage of the group would do it, if any? And again, I'm trying to question the silliness quotient of the group. I'm trying to understand, and then which is the second question, which is, do they have to be there or do they get to be there? And even if they're mandated to be there because it's part of their job, people can be crossing their arms and rolling their eyes, or they could be like, oh, this was great. Last year this happened. I don't know this. And I mean, that's what it is. The activity isn't as important as the anticipation of the activity and people buying in and wanting and getting to do it, not having to do it.
When you said stand on your chair and bark like a dog, Ted Lasso came to mind. The golden dog. Yeah, exactly.
Unfortunately, I don't get the reference. I've never seen a Ted Lasso.
I'll tell. Oh my gosh, we just
yeah.
we watched the entire series. It's worth
That's
it.
okay. I've never seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off, so
Okay.
I know what it's about, but I've never
wow.
seen it. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Diamond Dogs Assemble. Thank you, Fritz.
Okay, yeah.
Another thing.
So what else?
What it is, Sanjay, what you're talking about is if it's done intentionally, like with the intention of bettering our culture versus just a fun day. I think that's what you mean. A company I worked with, it had they were multinational, but they had Mentos for mentors every year, and all it was you selected a mentor from within the company that has helped you with something, and they got a certificate and they got a packet of Mentos. But what happened was unfortunately the guy who did spearhead it for years passed away, and yet they had to continue the tradition. And when I was working with them, they were in the process of who is the right person to take this over. And I'm going, it's candy, it's no big deal, right? But it was intentional, and it became like, well, that's what we always do. So
yeah, I would say it's about bragging rights. Yeah. It's not the prize; it's about the bragging rights that go with the prize.
Yeah,
Totally, always.
Cool.
Can we go back to something we started to talk about, and that was casual wear?
Yeah.
Not crazy wear like you guys, but I'm curious if people can put in the chat what's going on if you are
with
working
casual
in the
wear?
Office. How casual has it gotten? My impression is that it's gotten much more casual than it used to be.
Yeah. I can give you just one example. The company my wife works for, they used to be jeans on Friday. They were casual Fridays, and then casual became jeans on Fridays. And now it's pretty much just wear what you want when you want, jeans and all of that. And it's a charity, and so they rely on donor donations. Have their donor donations dropped because they're dressing more casually? No. Right. So I think somebody just said, and this came from the CEO who was very high up in the military, not exactly known for casual wear. And they said, let's just wear what you want. Don't worry about it. And everybody seems to be happier.
Yeah.
Interesting. How about you guys? Have you seen any changes?
Well, I think Jenny, I've
since COVID,
seen what Jenny is saying. Since COVID, it seems like.
And that's one of the biggest blessings of COVID. And I've said this a few times, that it gave us the right to be human. So it used to be like,
and to look at what's really important and what we have manufactured to be important.
Right. Exactly. Like, so you're at work, you have to have this level of professionalism. And, if you were on a call before, it was like to the kids, what? Stop it. I'm on a call. And now during COVID,
it's like, hey, come on.
Right. The kid would walk around swinging the diaper. The cat walks across the keyboard, and people.
Well, there is a limit.
Right. And people were like, okay, I get it. It's part of the human experience.
I think it's also the contract we talked about, because I'm working at home and I get to dress any way I want. You go to work and you have to dress up. It doesn't make sense. We are running out of time, guys.
I just one final thought on the casual thing, though, because I've had this conversation many times with managers where they say, yeah, we do casual Fridays. And man, everybody just seems so much more happier, and it's just weird how it affects us, and we have better conversations, and it's almost like people are more productive. And then I
we
always
wouldn't want to do that every day.
Well, why don't you do that every day? And they just look at me like, oh yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah, I think a lot of we're making some progress in breaking down some of the things that don't matter and focusing more on the things that do.
Yeah.
All right. Well, one thing that does matter is we have a commitment to be done with by 45 minutes after the hour. That's coming up in just seconds. So what's next?
What is it, 2 weeks from now?
Yeah, 2 weeks from now is July the 9th, and that's when we will all be back. And so what does that mean? We're going to be back when? Every other Wednesday.
Guys, you got to pick this up. This is our new closing where we all
every other Wednesday.
Our outro sucks, gentlemen.
Every other Wednesday.
Every other Wednesday.
Very zombie-like.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us, folks. We will see you in 2 weeks.
Always.
Bye, everyone.
Okay, thanks, everyone. See you in 2 weeks. Bye.
Enjoy your